Good morning, everyone. Every time I go to Israel, I go to my grandfather's grave on Mount Har Manuchot. And whenever I go to my grandfather's grave, when I go there, right next to him, just right down the road, is the burial place of a great rabbi by the name of Rabbi Meir Shapiro. And I usually stop at his grave to say a prayer. Who was Rabbi Meir Shapiro? He was the Lubliner Rav. He was a great rabbi in Lublin in Poland. And he ultimately came to Israel and died in 1933 in Israel. But what's amazing about him is that he started what is known as the Daf Yomi, the daily page of Talmud. There are tens of thousands of Jews around the world who learn one page of Talmud a day, and it's the biggest book club in the world, most probably. And in 7 years, they finished the entire Talmud, which is over 2,000 pages. Each page takes about an hour to study. After putting in over 2,000 hours over a 7-year process, they complete the entire Talmud, which is a major accomplishment. And he gives a Dvar Torah on this week's Torah portion, Rabbi Meir Shapiro, which I think is connected to the study of the daily page of Talmud. He says, God tells Abraham, look up to the heavens and count the stars. And then he says, so will your children be. Says Rabbi Meir Shapiro, what does it mean when he said, your children will be like you? That when God told Abraham, look up to the heaven and count the stars, Abraham started counting. 1, 2, 3. Now, an ordinary person would say, it's impossible, God, to count all the stars in the heaven. How can I do that? There are billions and billions of stars. But not Abraham. God told him to do something. He didn't ask questions. He started to do it. He started to count. And that's when God said, your children will be like you. They will have that same trait. They will do the impossible. And it's that optimism and faith in God that I will do my part, even if it seems beyond my capabilities, that will be the unique trait of the Jewish people. When I think about the daily page of Talmud, most people would say, I can't learn the whole Talmud. I'm just a layman. I'm an ordinary person. But Rabbi Shapiro, like his story of the interpretation of Abraham and the stars, said you could do the impossible. And so many Jews have completed the whole Talmud by following his path. When I think about what's happening in Israel today, once again we see this trait of the Jewish people, that we do the impossible, the unthinkable, the unimaginable, that others would say you could never achieve that. Starting with establishing Israel in the middle of the Middle East with so many hostile neighbors, and now defending ourselves and protecting ourselves and succeeding in overcoming the terrible evil around us in a way that is unimaginable. But yet the Jewish people are actually doing it, achieving it, and demonstrating for the whole world what does it mean to be a Jew. That a Jew knows that as long as God tells me to do something, I could achieve it despite all the odds being against me. And this is what the verse says in the book of Daniel. Umatzdikei harabim. Those who cause others to be righteous will be like the stars in the heaven forever and ever. What does it mean that those who cause others to be righteous will be like the stars in the heaven? The stars only shine at night when it's dark. And sometimes it's in the darkest periods of our lives or of Jewish history that the greatest light shines for us, the greatest example and inspiration. And that's what we're seeing today. So many Israelis are heroes and showing us how we could all be stars and we could shine brightly. And yes, it may be dark, but we could do the hard, the difficult, the challenging, and the impossible. As someone once said, the possible we do immediately. The impossible just takes a little bit longer. Or as someone once pointed out, that the word impossible could be broken into 2 words. I'm possible. One of the great heroes who fell in battle was a young rabbi by the name of Elisha Lowenstein. He has a wife, Hadass, and 6 children. And he went as a reservist to fight, to defend, and protect the land of Israel. And tragically, he was killed, leaving his young wife of 13 years of marriage, a widow with 6 children. And I was watching a podcast of the wife, Hadass, talk about her love for her husband, who was a computer engineer but also a rabbi. And she talks about carrying on with the family and keeping his legacy alive and keeping his life and his children going forward despite all the challenges. And she said something so heartwarming. She said, me and my husband had a weekly date night. We would go out as a couple. And now, what I've decided to do is to continue that date night every week. But instead of going with my husband, every week I take another one of my 6 children out for an evening. And we go out to eat or to have ice cream. And I tell them about their father and how great he was. And I tell them stories so they should remember and know who he was. This is the light of the Jewish people. This is what God told Abraham. And this is who we are. The stars in the heaven that God showed to Abraham on that dark night. Have a wonderful day.